What's up, YouTube family? It is Shannon Craft once again with another barber tutorial, and today we're going to do a drop fade with color enhancement. So we're doing this on my boy Nate. He's one of the barbers at the shop that work with me. So we started out with the number 4 on top, and then we kind of did like a 4.5 in the front corners where it's a little lighter. We just blended that 4.5 into the 4. Then we went into a 3 and blended the 3 in the parietal ridge area right into that 4. Now we're doing a 2 and blending the 2 into the 3, but we're still keeping that number 2 a little lower, as you can see. Now the reason I did this is because I just want to kind of clean the canvas off for the fade, but I like to fade into a 2. I always like to fade into a number 2. So right now we're making our first guideline, and as you can see, the front of that guideline is pointing down towards his mouth, curving up over the ear, and then pointing down in the back, and that's basically where you get the drop fade look at. So we're going to clean up all the hair after making our first guideline, and then we're going to move in right after that with the Andis Pro-Foil shavers and shave that out, make it look real clean, just to get us ready for the next step of this fade. Now I'm using my Oster Fast Feeds, no guard, blade all the way open, and I'm going to go ahead and take that up about 3/4 of an inch to an inch high, that second guideline. And usually most of you guys know, if you watch my video, I like to then begin to start closing it and work my way down to just blend that first guideline out. However, I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to switch it up just a little bit. And now I'm just going to move right into my number 1 guard. And I'm going to take that number 1 all the way open. So the lever is going to be all the way open. And then just kind of go in and blend that right into the number 2. He does have a lot of dark spots, and obviously he has some gray hairs coming through. So sometimes that creates like a dark light effect where it kind of looks a little splotchy or patchy. However, we're going to take care of that. We're just going to work on hitting those dark spots to blend them in better into the lighter areas, and then we're going to come in with some color enhancement and not just do it on the front, but we're going to go ahead and just do it all over the head, man. We're going to hit that fade and the top of the head and the beard with the color enhancement. Reason being is because it was my first time doing the color enhancement, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going all out. So I had a good time doing it, as you will see a little bit later. So after I did my 1 open into the 2, which there's still a pretty significant line that we're going to work on in just a moment, then I closed the number 1 all the way. Well, first I closed it halfway, worked a little bit lower on my fade, and then I closed it all the way, and then begin to blend a little bit lower than that. I think right now I may have the closed one on there, or the zero guard, the purple magnetic zero guard, which is a 1/16 guard, and just kind of keep that open, and I'll close it a little bit and drop a little bit lower. As you can see a little bit ago, right above where the clippers are at just a moment ago, there's a dark spot right about there above my clipper, and as you can see, I was kind of going just with the corner of that at an angle, almost like in a feathering motion, just trying to knock some of that weight out of there, because there's a very significant dip there which causes it to look very dark. So now I took my zero guard off, back again with the open and blending into the zero guard, and then now I'm going to start closing the lever a little bit. Like right now it's closed about halfway, and I'm just kind of flicking a little bit above that line, but then I'm going to close it all the way and just start flicking at that line, and then just doing some detail work. In this kind of portion of the haircut, when we start taking guards off and we're just working with the blade, the majority of the time I just use the corners of the blade so that I don't create more of a line. So now we'll come back and do some more detail work here in a little bit, but now I just went ahead and put on the number 3 purple magnetic guard, and trying to knock some of that bulk out that I see, and going right into the 2. And then actually no, I have a number 2 guard on there, just trying to knock that out. Where I'm at right now, it stays pretty dark. I don't know if I recorded or not, but I do go in with clipper over comb and knock a lot of that bulk out that I just could not seem to hit with the clippers like I wanted to. So then I'm back to my 1 open and blending again into the 2. Now basically you guys get the steps. We started with a 4 on top, then we dropped a little bit lower right around the parietal ridge area with a number 3, and then we went into a 2, and then we went into an open 1 and a closed 1, and then an open 0 guard and a closed 0 guard, open blade, and then, you know, just started working that lever little by little till we have it closed out all the way. Now when I go back and I see different lines that I'm working on now, then I'll grab the guard that I know that I need in that area, and I'll just start blending until I hit hair. If the guard is too long, I get a shorter guard and I'll open it up first so I don't dig it in, and if I'm still not hitting hair, I'll close it. But I'm just trying to really just flick out, and I'm using a C motion whenever I flick out at those darker lines to try to blend them out. But there again, once I take the guards off and just do detail work like I'm doing right now, I mainly use the corners of the blade and just kind of tap at that line to get it out. I'm excited about this color enhancement today. My first time using airbrush. I have in the past used hair fibers. I like that, but obviously once you take a shower it just washes out. But so I'm excited about the color enhancement. Definitely something I got to add to the arsenal. So right now we're going to keep that beard looking full. He doesn't really want to trim it. He just wants to kind of clean it up. So what I did, I took my 1 open and I just started tapping away at the top of that beard, just kind of blending it into the open blade that I already had at the top of the beard. So now I made the edge. We're going into the C-cup area. Now I'm going to make this beard come into a point. However, I've seen, you know, some pictures where the C-cup fades out wide, like kind of natural where it would naturally end. But then they do the beard to a point and it kind of goes up under that C-cup. So I thought that was pretty cool, so I thought I would try it today, do a little tutorial for you guys. So right now you can see I have this little point coming down. I mean, that would have been a cool little thing to keep. However, I didn't want to keep it, so right now I'm just trying to separate those hairs from the point that I'm creating to where I'm going to end up blending that little point off that's at the bottom of the C-cup area. Now just cleaning up the back of the beard. Here I was telling you guys that I like to do a scissor over comb, and the reason being is if you get a good barber comb like the one I have in my hand, it's very thin and it's real tight. You know, on one end just the comb is really tight, so and just real compact and small, and I'll use that. But as you can see, I just come in with the tips of my blade in the lower area. I'll use a lot more of the full blade in the top area where it's darker. But man, if you see little dark spots and you just use the tip of your blade and lift those hairs up and just start knocking out the dark spots. I told you before that hair has patterns. There's light and dark, and sometimes the dark is grouped together more than the light, which makes it look like little patches. Go in there and start tapping at those little dark areas until they look the same as the lighter areas, so that way it looks like it blends more. I'm just going to do mainly this side for the sake of time on the video. As you can see where I'm at right now, more towards the back of the head, there is going to be a darker spot for a little bit. I come back in later with clipper over comb, or scissor over comb rather, shear over comb, and knock that out before I finish the cut and put the color enhancement on there. But just spin your client around when you get done. Start looking. If you see anything that needs to be lightened up in certain areas or whatever, man, hit it with that shear over comb technique and it'll make that thing look blurry. So there again, so we started same technique. We went up about an inch this time, 1.5 inches on the bottom with an open blade. But then now I'm going back to the technique I usually use, and I'm just beginning to slowly close the lever and work my way down on the head. So that way I can just blend that line right out. The first time it felt like, you know, it took a little longer than I wanted it to. So I thought, you know what, I'm going back to the technique I usually use. And that's what you have to do. You have to find what works best for you. So now I'm just going ahead and tapping this out with my Slimline Pros. And the reason you do that is because whatever you balled out with, or whatever line that you create, so if I created the line with the Slimlines, I'm going to need that same tool to knock it out. If I create a guideline, say with a half, the open blade, I'm going to have to use that same half to take out the line at the end. So now I'm have my one guard on there again, and I have it all the way open. As you can see, I told him to put his head down. In this position, a lot of times you can't see the fade, so you need to tell him to look down so you can get more light in that area, and it just helps you blend a lot better. So tell him to look at his phone, do something, just put his head down. So then I'll start closing that. So I started with the one open, and then I will close that one, and then I'll go in like right now with my 1/16 guard, and I'll drop a little bit lower than that one and begin to kind of blend into that. However, the 1/16 guard is open, and then I'll close it and blend into that one that we did previously. Take the guard off in just a moment, and I'll go through the process again. I'll open up the blade and start knocking out different areas that I feel like is not blended. There again, guys, this is a process. Some hair fades very easy. It just blends so nice the first time. But a lot of times when you're dealing with darker, thicker hair, you just have to keep going over. And you know, if you have to pull a guard out, pull a guard out, do it again. But as you can see, there is a dark spot right above where my clipper is at, in that little area, that kind of line there. Like I said, I went back with scissor over comb, knocked that out. So now, this is my first time using this. That's why I have that white sheet of paper. Really spraying well, so I went in and just started messing with it so I could get a good flow. Once I felt like I got a good flow, I pulled out just a little business card there, a promo card, and used it, the corners of it, just to kind of keep that overspray from getting on his forehead. But I'm liking this, man, you know, coming in, making that line look a lot sharper. Like I said before, I'm an old school barber, man, but this, you know, I gotta learn these new tricks. So come in, just hit the edges there with that airbrush. And, you know, like I said, once I was hitting it with the airbrush, I was like, you know what? Look at all that gray hair on your head there, man. Look at all the gray hair in your fade. Let's go ahead and take care of that. So right now I just went ahead and hit up the back of the beard, as you can see. And now just hitting up the top lining. You know, I found that it's really difficult to really do the full beard, like on the chin area and stuff. But to make that line real crispy on the top, on the back side and the top, you know, I find it really nice. So now, there again, I'm just taking that, filling in any little spots. If I see any grays, I'm just kind of covering it. And it may look like I'm spraying a lot, but not a whole lot's coming out. So I'm being, you know, whenever I feel like it's coming out really good, I try to just move really quick so that I'm not getting, you know, just clumped up areas, because I do want it to look natural. And it's a little wet looking now, but it will dry up and look really nice. But there's the finished product, man. I feel like, you know, it's looking good. My boy Nate, once again, an awesome barber. He really liked the haircut. He hasn't got a fade in a long time. He usually gets a blowout, but as you can see, he's feeling himself. So boom, here's the finished product, guys. Tell me what you like. Make sure you comment, put a thumbs up if you like it. Hey, if you don't like it, put a thumbs down. That's cool. But anyways, that's the finished product. Hey, I thank you guys for watching, and once again, God bless you guys. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, hit that notification button. More content's on the way. Peace.